Hi, Karen Jones here, talking to you live from my home in Las Vegas. How's everybody doing? Well, today I wanted to talk to you about receiving. And what if you could push down the barriers that are preventing you from receiving? What if you've created barriers to your receiving? And the thing is, we have so many judgments about what we can receive and what we can't receive. And those judgments, or any judgments for that matter, prevent us from receiving more in our lives, don't you think? You know, whenever I think about this image of pushing down the barriers, I always go back to a Star Trek episode, for any Star Trekkies out there, where they have to push down the barriers to be able to go into this other dimension to get home. I like the symbolism of that, because what if the universe is ready to give you everything that you've ever desired, but because you have some points of view, here we are once again to points of view, about what it is that you can receive, it never comes to you. So what if you have to be willing to receive it all, to have it all? Now when I say that, it kind of can get a little uncomfortable for some of you, because you have to be more aware of things that can be a little bit uncomfortable. Now I started this receiving idea many years ago when I was working at a Unity church in Miami, Unity on the Bay, great Unity church. If you guys ever are in Miami and you're looking for a place to go on a Sunday, it's amazing. The music is awesome. Anyhow, I had just started learning about being willing to receive more and being more vulnerable and pushing down the barriers. And there was a concert that was being given at my church. And I got to the church and I had this overwhelming sadness you wouldn't believe. It was like to the point of like, oh my God, I want to kill myself. And I was like, wait a minute, this can't belong to me. My life was great. There was no reason at all for me to have those thoughts. So imagine in your life, the thoughts that you're having that aren't really your thoughts. Well, the reason you know how I got to that was I kept saying to myself, who does this belong to? This is not mine. Return to whoever this belongs to. This isn't mine. This isn't mine. And I mean, I got through the show, but it was a horrible sensation. It really was. I don't think I've ever perceived anything that intense. Now, I had been asking to receive all energies and to be aware and what's going to take to be a godzillion, which is like an amount that only God knows how big it is. I wanted to be aware of more. I wanted to have greater awareness so that I could show up better in the world, so that I could receive more in my day-to-day life. So what happened was I left the church that night. I got about maybe 2 miles away, and all of a sudden it just went away. Now, of course, I called my guru, and I asked him, I said, so what the heck was that all about? I mean, talk about, like, awful. And he said, so tell me, what kind of people go to church? People who are desperate, people who are seeking some kind of peace, people who are very, very sad and depressed and want to kill themselves. Exactly, right on the nose. So you see, the more you open your awareness, the more vulnerable you are to energy or to what's going on around you. Just because you have an awareness of it doesn't mean it's yours. Very big lesson. And number two, that vulnerability will allow you to know that you need to go to this place because there's going to be someone there who's going to give you this opportunity for your business to grow. It's just an example, okay? So having the awareness of that kind of sadness was not very comfortable. And sometimes being that aware can be uncomfortable. But it doesn't mean that it's forever. And you don't want to judge it as wrong. It's just an interesting point of view. Just as you are an interesting point of view. Okay, so you have to ask for what you would like. If you don't ask, then the universe can't deliver. Okay? You got to ask. Even if you think, oh, but I don't deserve it, you have to get rid of those thoughts. You have to say, okay, I'm going to let that go. Because you deserve it just as much as anybody else. You were given the same tools as a Donald Trump. I mean, that guy stands up to criticism all the time. I mean, look at his hair. He gets criticized all the time. But you know what I'm saying? You have to be willing for people to scrutinize you. You have to step out and be seen. like I'm doing right now on this blog. You have to be the emperor with no clothes. Can you do that? Because if you're willing to be that and to do that, then you can receive so much more. But you've got to ask. And you've got to say, okay, barriers down, barriers down, barriers down. I'm willing to receive. What's it going to take to receive more than I ever thought possible? Ask the question. Magical possibilities, people. Magical possibilities. What else is possible? So, this is Karen Jones, signing off. Barriers down, barriers down!
See the sky. Let's explore it.